Hey, it's Monday. Just got off the weekend and thought we would talk about new categories and really kind of, evaluating your eBay store and then get into all the items that sold over the weekend. If this is your first time here, though, my name is Brian and I'm a reseller. I sell on eBay, I sell in the everything category. So I sell toys, tools, clothes, pots, pans, stuffed animals, you name it. Uh, and then I also make YouTube videos like this one right here. But yeah, I've been selling on eBay for about a little over 6 years now, and just like talking about what I do. So if you are here for the thumbnail, so I think discovering new categories can be important if your eBay business seems to have maybe hit a wall, or you're wanting to expand beyond where you're at. For me, it was really driven recently by the clothing category. And this isn't necessarily saying you need to go get into clothes. This is something specific to my business, but I was selling toys, tools, pots and pans, and all that sort of stuff already. I had a few pieces of clothing listed up that I'd had from the past if I found a deal at a garage sale, but wasn't really focused on it. And so the sales were just a fraction of my store sales. But recently, as I was hitting thrift stores, I found that there were less things that I would normally buy in those stores. And I was focused on thrift stores because it's Oklahoma, right? And right now it's just now getting into yard sale season. And so I didn't have really those opportunities like I would, the rest of the year. So I was focused on thrift stores, primarily Goodwills, because there's so many of them around me and they have the biggest selection of inventory. So I started hitting the clothing section. I know there's a lot of clothing that's being sold. It's super saturated on eBay. So I'm really trying to focus on high sell-through rate items only. That doesn't mean I won't buy something if it's a crazy good deal at a lower sell-through rate, but I'm trying to focus on high sell-through rate stuff. So I'm not, millions of items of clothes in my store and selling a few a day. But yeah, so I started that way, and for me, it was about expanding my business. I wasn't finding as much stuff, wanted to make my trips more valuable while I was there, and what could I do? So I guess the conversation is really about how can how did I, decide to do that? And I would just encourage everybody. I've said it numerous times in past videos to stay curious, but I think it's so important in the reselling business because you just never know what you're going to come across. And finding stuff that looks different or odd, or maybe you haven't paid attention to before, just checking it out through, find out what it is first. You might use Google Lens to figure out what it is if you don't know, and then go comp it on eBay and see, what's possible. You might find just some crazy things. I've found some very crazy things out there, really not knowing exactly what I was looking at, and then turn around and sold them on eBay. So a good example. So this past week, it was a little bit back to being a little bit slow, which I like to say it's always because of me, because there's more I could do, and sure, there is more I could do. Last week I was very active on eBay. I listed a lot of items last week. I probably upwards of 40 items last week. And I say that's a lot for me. That's not a lot for some people. Some people are 25, 30 items, a day or more. That's not the model I typically go with, although I am considering going that direction. My wife and I were talking about that. But yeah, so I listed about 40 items last week. Had 21 sales throughout the week and only 6 over the weekend. So I was really stressing out a little bit, wondering if I was going to get to have a top 5 sales over the weekend video. But yeah, so ended up with 6 sales over the weekend. 20%, 5 of the 21 items, so it's 19% of the items that I sold last week were clothing items. So sold some shirts, some swim trunks, some couple pair of pants, a skirt. I sold some hats and shoes. I know those are technically clothing. I don't put those in the clothes category. When I'm thinking of clothing, I'm thinking of like shirts, pants, typically. Hats, I think, is a real unique thing all by itself. There's people who only sell hats, and then shoes are pretty unique. There's people that only sell shoes. So I think of clothing as like tops and bottoms. But Yeah, so if you encompass hats and shoes, that's another 3, 4, 9. It was almost half of my sales last week. 9 out of 21 sales were hats, shoes, shirts, pants, skirts. So it was very, clothing-ish focused last week for me. The normal odd stuff that, is on all the racks here in my storage unit weren't the items that were making up most of the sales. So I am thankful now that I started dipping my foot back into clothing and pulling some of it in, because some of the items that I've bought just in the last week or so already sold. And I think that's a big help. But yeah, not saying go sell clothes. So if you want to sell clothes, sell clothes. If you don't, no big deal. But I just encourage people to take a look around whenever you're at estate sales, garage sales, thrift stores, and maybe go visit one extra section of products that you wouldn't normally visit, and just take a look around and learn something, and then move on with what you're doing. So now there's some people who absolutely won't do that because they're only focused on one thing and that's all they ever want to do. And if that's your model, that's awesome. It works for some people. I just like the treasure hunt of finding multiple categories and always finding new things. It's just a lot of fun for me. So, all right. Let's look at the items that did sell over the weekend. I'm just going to show them to you in the order that they sold. So that's the order we go in. First item, this is something that I don't know if most people would look at this, but this is the brand Redhead. They make clothing too. The clothing doesn't resell very well, but something like this is pretty decent. This is a 3-compartment. It's soft inside. It's padded in all 3 compartments. But it's for the closest thing I could find. I couldn't find this exact thing. I found a really old listing from like an auction site, and they had some match shooting pistols inside of it. So I listed as like a match shooting soft shell pistol gun case, 3-compartment, and put all the measurements. Ended up making a deal, giving them a little bit of a shipping discount, because I think I probably can ship it a little bit cheaper than what I had listed. But I picked this up for $5 at a garage sale week 7-8 days ago. Picked it up for $5 and sold it for $33.91 plus shipping. That was my best sale of the weekend right there, and I sold that one late Friday. So $33.91 plus shipping on that guy. Pretty cool piece. I say this a lot, but I consider keeping that just to, my boys have little airsoft guns, and I've got a few pistols, and thought, man, this would be cool to carry them in. And then I remembered that I already have stuff like that. And I don't need to acquire more stuff. I don't need to do it. So next up, I sold another one of these, and it's to the same person who bought one last week. So they came back and sent in an offer for $12. I didn't realize it was the same person. I still would have accepted the offer, but I'm trying to get these out of my store. I still have, I think, 4 more in my bin up there that I paid too much for, but I paid $13.20. I sold it for $12 plus shipping. I'm going to lose money on that hat, but I need to get money back and not just keep sitting on them and sitting on them and sitting on them. I've had them already for 6 months or possibly more. It may be close to 8 months by now that I've had them in inventory. And I need them gone. I need the money back, or some money back. So that one's going out the door. The next item that sold, 2 hats in a row, was this North Face. This is a Class 5 brimmer hat, is what they're called. They have the little things around here, like a safari hat. I guess you could clip stuff to it or put stuff, clip stuff in there. But I don't know what you put in there, but I guess you can put stuff in there. Cool hat from North Face. But I picked this one up for $14.30, about the same time as I got that Mickey hat. And I sold this one for $19.41 plus shipping on sale this weekend. So this one was a little bit tougher to sell because this was a small medium, not a large extra large. So you got to find somebody with a small noggin to put this on. Not as great a sell-through rate. This is a pretty cool piece. This is a Pink Floyd DVD from the wall. Just has the DVD inside, has a movie poster in there, has the original little pamphlet from Sony. But I picked this up at a neighborhood garage sale in my neighborhood. They were getting ready to close down. We walked up, and it was on a Sunday, either late Saturday or late Sunday afternoon. And walked in, and we're like, "Oh man, you guys are really busy." And she goes, "Everything's free. We don't want it. It's either, we don't want to take it back in the house, and anything that's left is going to the, thrift store. So everything's free." So man, I grabbed a pile, CDs, DVDs, a lot of really cool stuff that we've already sold on eBay for pretty good money. That was still there at the very end of their garage sale. So yeah, I've got pulled a lot of profit out of that free stuff, but sold that one for $7.71 plus shipping. Sold another hat, 3 hats over the weekend. That's unusual for me for sure. Have this Golden Nugget Las Vegas hat. This is an 80s piece. This is new old stock. He had a pile of hats that were new. Some had tags, some didn't, but this is a Made in USA hat. Picked these up for $2 a piece, or I put $2.20 at the estate sale, and sold this one for $19.41 plus shipping. And then the 6th item. So this is picked this up at Goodwill. This is a Wrangler 20X. This is an FR. So when you see these orange tags, it's going to be right up here. And you see it right there. And there's one on the sleeve that's all tucked in there also. So you'll see orange tags all over it. The FR is fire resistant, not fire repellent, fire resistant. So this is a pearl snap. So this is a large, tall pearl snap with the blue pearls, blue snaps. I picked that up at Goodwill for $7.35, and I sold it for $23.31 plus shipping on a store sale this weekend. I had a store sale this weekend at 22% off, and even with the store sale, there's very, very little action this weekend. Be interested if you're a reseller to hear about your sales over the weekend. I hope they were much better than mine. It was just a slow weekend. So, and I was even listing items throughout the weekend just to keep activity going in the store. And it's just, I don't know, just off a little bit. But 5 out of the 6 items that sold were sold on promoted listings this week. And all of them were sold on either an offer or a store sale. None of them sold at full price, which typically they don't because I have the store sale running. But yeah, they were all sold on sale or an offer. That's it. That's the 6 items that sold. Again, if you have any feedback, comments, questions, leave those down below for me. I'll make sure and get back to you. If you want to reach out to me directly, not through comments, you can email me at reclaimedrepublic@gmail.com. I haven't checked my email in a few days, so if you've messaged me already, I'll get back to you today. But yeah, I appreciate you watching, and until next time, have a great day.